Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, they go low and we go high. They play ego limbo on the other side. We keep humble, ain't no honor in your pride. Lying in me, lethal weapon on my side. Praise my God, promise we ain't coming down. Same thing for the crown, same thing for the team. Breaking down any op, only care about what God say. My behalf with the tribe, yeah. All the glory to my Yahweh, all the glory to my God, yeah. I did my toe and now I'm fresh, yeah. Shout out to my Abba, yeah. I follow, no regrets, yeah. They ain't learn a lesson, I'm still blessed when disrespected. Father got me eating while they out here looking packaged. Ugh, you just mad I ain't following Twitter D. Looking at me like enemy, only like in vicinity. I'm so high with the energy, yeah. You follow his way, yeah. Follow his way, yeah. Laser light show never fade, no. Ain't no stage chill. We got all night. No switch, we that bright light. On lane, we might take flight. Flight check ain't no right height. We don't fall or lose sight. Follow his way, yeah. Follow his way, yeah. We got the juice, we got the watts. Ain't no way we fading. They go low and we go high. They play ego limbo.
Peace. What's going on, my people? Hey, man, my bad, man. I literally have been so busy, like consistently just busy for the last 2 weeks. Everybody is trying to get their videos done. They trying to get their graphic designs done for the New Year's. So I haven't even had time to literally even do live streams in the morning like I wanted to. So just subscribe, click the notification bell. So when I go live, you can actually see when I go live and you'll know when I go live. I know today we're going to talk about the stimulus. I'm probably not going to go and actually go to any of the news. I may or may not. I don't know yet. Going to the news outlets to show you guys what's going on, because I mean, it's quite apparent what's already going on as far as the stimulus is going. And I mean, at the end of the day, Republicans are going to lose sincerely over this. Because for one, they are trying to tell the American people, well, let's just go in. Donald Trump literally dropped a bomb in the lap of the Republican Party, and they do not know what to do other than to go against Donald Trump. Yeah, I got my hat on today. It's fine. It's my thinking cap. But Donald Trump literally threw a bomb in the lap of the Republican Party, and they don't know what to do other than to go against him. Now, the last time the Republicans went against Donald Trump, they lost. The Republican Party is a Donald Trump party at the moment. So the majority of people who even will vote for Republicans are voting for Republicans who are going to support Donald Trump. So if you don't support Donald Trump, especially when he came out on national TV as well as on social media to tell the people he's fighting for them to get $2,000 checks and not the measly $600 checks that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell and that whole little bunch fought for. They were fighting each other for the crumbs, like Nancy Pelosi was saying when it came to her going against Donald Trump in the summertime right before the election for them to get us stimulus checks before the election. Now, one thing that I keep hearing about from these progressives, which is starting to tick me off, is the fact that they keep forgetting that Donald Trump has been fighting for $2,000 stimulus checks since the beginning. You can go back to all of his tweets since y'all all keep on saying, oh, he's just doing this because of Bernie Sanders. And no, Donald Trump has always been for checks for the people. It's never been a time where Donald Trump has not been for checks for the people. And we can tell that this ploy fits very in line with Donald Trump, how Donald Trump became president the first time. Populism is the reason why Donald Trump became president. This crony corporatism is the reason why Donald Trump became president in the first place. Even if he loses this battle with vetoing and then they having a majority to actually pass the bill, Americans are going to remember this for the next 42 years. Because remember, a lot of them, and I mean those in the Senate and those in the Congress, are going to be going through many elections during this first term of, I want to say, Joe Biden. Many of them are going to be getting elected out of their seats due to the fact that they currently are fighting the people to have some type of monetized form of recovery directly to them. It's okay if you want to go ahead and have these, it's okay if you want to have these negotiations, but then to leave the American people out of those negotiations was a very idiotic move when you have an entire election going on and it has to do with whether you're going to maintain power or lose power in the government. I truly think at this point in time, Republicans think that just because there was a larger voting bloc that voted Republican this time, that in this Georgia election, they have it in the bag. So they can do whatever they want because the Republicans are going to vote Republican no matter what. And guess what? They aren't. Majority of the Republicans that have been voting are going to vote where Trump says they should vote. And that's the thing that they don't understand about the new Republican Party. Because most of the Republicans who are Republicans, new Republican voters, are new Republican voters because of Donald Trump. So if you go against Donald Trump and what he's asking from you, then you're going to lose. It's just as simple as that. But again, they have to distance themselves from Donald Trump because of the election debacle and the things that he's saying about the election. Not about policy because he's still the president. He is still the president. So this is not about policy. This is solely about distancing themselves from Donald Trump so they can go back to being the corporatists that they were before. You can look at the bill. It's public information what is in the bill. You can look at the bill and see that most of this is about foreign aid, even though we understand this stimulus package was morphed together with the government package, the government funding package. It does not matter because the way Donald Trump framed it is you're giving foreign money to foreign people, but then when you turn around and talked about giving money to the American people, it was no money there to be able to give them. And you heard it repeatedly when Bernie got up with a Republican and agreed, that was bipartisan, when they got up and said, hey, we want $2,000 checks or $1,200 checks for all of the Americans. Guess what? They got up and said, hey, we can't do this. We can't do this because we need to look out for our future and how our economy is going to be in our future. And we can't. And that's what they got up and said. And they're talking about protecting the economy. The economy is tanking right now, and we need some type of funding because you, the government, shut down the country. The country is not even running at 100%, not 50%, not even 25%. Most businesses are failing because we had to shut down the country. You told us to shut down the country. You created mandates for us to shut down the country. And what happens now? I can't work. Well, I can still work, but if I work and I go outside of your mandate, now I face persecution from my state government. So what is really going on here? You tell people they can't make money, and then you tell them if they go back to work, they have to face getting themselves or their families, putting themselves and their families in danger. This is what you're asking of the American people. You're asking the American people to put themselves in danger, and then on top of that, you want to tell them how and when they can work, which creates an even bigger issue. There aren't any jobs right now. We just had the jobs. Paperwork come out. What is it? A couple of days ago. People are losing jobs. The American people are losing jobs. We don't have any jobs to spare during the coronavirus. There are no jobs to spare during the coronavirus. So why is this even an issue? Why? Why is it even an issue? You know, it just baffles me. It truly baffles me as to why our own government is requiring us to understand why we're giving foreign money to foreign governments, many of whom probably don't want our help, in a time when the American people need the help the most. Again, we all know when there is some type of tragedy, who really gets paid? Who really gets paid? And this is a national showing of exactly what people have been talking about for years. How when we have some type of a disaster, some type of something happening in the world, especially in America, where our government goes ahead and pays all of the big wigs and the special interest groups whatever they want so that they can make money during a national disaster. They're not going to waste that money. They want to get paid. But this shows you 600, and I seen on my Facebook page, oh, y'all, where people have been, oh, well, especially black people. And this is what actually is killing me. It's black people who will say, oh, y'all worried, y'all mad about this government handout, and y'all upset about not getting about getting $600. Bro, that is so ignorant for anybody, because I've noticed a lot of the people who are mad, who aren't as mad about the $600 or the stimulus bill in itself. I notice a lot of them, they are people who probably won't even get the stimulus anyway because of whatever reason. They probably owe child support or something like that. So they're mad that they can't get, the stimulus check because it's going to go to their baby mama. We're not going to get into that. But the thing about it is, it's very showing when you have people who have this mentality that $600 is some type of gift. When we have many businesses losing, especially when it comes to the black community, we are losing because of this non-existent stimulus. We are losing. We already are losing statistically when it comes to the coronavirus. Now we're going to lose even more because we can't even we don't even have the stimulus to even bring into our community. On top of on top of the fact that our businesses are failing even more. I just read my local, I just read my local news. They have a list here in Virginia, here in Richmond, here where I am. They have a list of all of the businesses, especially restaurants, that have closed due to the coronavirus. Due to the coronavirus, they have closed due to the coronavirus and due to the things that have happened, especially when there's no stimulus coming to the people. It is a slap in the face of the American people, especially the black community, for Democrats to sit up here and say, oh, we negotiated for 9 months and came up with $600 to give to their constituency. And this isn't even just a black or white thing. It's a very American thing. And that is why I'm saying when it comes to the Georgia elections, the Republicans are going to lose, especially when it comes to Election Day. When it comes to Election Day, the Republicans will lose due to the fact that they are not worried about their constituency because they think in a state that literally said that Joe Biden won, that they're going to win the seats that they need to retain power. It's not going to happen because, again, at this point in time, you have so many Republicans who are standing against the American people. And again, every time, this happens every single time. They get high and mighty and think they're going to be able to do something in the government and change what's going on in the government. And guess what? They end up losing because they overly calculate what actually is going to happen when it comes to these election cycles. And I know I sound I sound upset, but I'm thinking about the American people and what is going on. I'm not worried about myself because for me, I'm a veteran. I get a check every single month. I have a business that's still running. My wife has a business that's still running. We both have businesses that are still running. We, in our household, are okay. We don't have to worry about stimulus checks and all of that stuff. But it's not about me. It's about the American people and those people that I know for a fact that are struggling right now because our people will not get stimulus checks from the government that they voted in. And that is exactly what this is about. The government that we voted in, the government that we voted in, the government that we voted in are not actually doing anything that has to do with protecting us who voted them in. It's absolutely it's madness. It's total madness. And I do want to harken back to the black community because this goes back to the point where Ice Cube was saying during the election, this is your time to tell them that this is what you want, and if they don't do this, then they don't get your vote. If they don't do this, then they don't get your vote. That's what this is about. It harkens back to that. Because again, we voted for these people like Mitch McConnell, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and the list goes on. We voted for these same people who don't have our interests at hand. I keep forgetting the guy's name who got up and talked against Bernie Sanders when they were trying to bring into a bill for the $1,200 checks, and he just literally got up and said, "We don't need it because we don't need to give any more money because it's going to raise the debt." Newsflash: we aren't even on the gold standard anymore. All of our funds are computerized. So that debt is literally null and void. Let's not forget the man with the money printer turned around and said, we have deflation going on. So even if you raise the amount of money that we owe, it's not going to matter because the interest is not going to matter either because we're experiencing deflation. So adding more money to the more money is not going to even affect it until way later when we actually start recovering in the economy. So if this is just basic economics. And these people who we voted in, we would think that they understood economics, but they do understand, and they do. And I don't want to say they don't, because they truly do understand economics. Not only do they understand economics, they understand how money works in DC and how they need to make sure that their lobbyists get the money and not the people. So if they have more money for the lobbyists, if they have more money for lobbyists and the special interest groups than they have for the American people, that means it's more money that can come back to them. In this stimulus bill, I want everybody to go out and look at the stimulus bill and know that there is a provision for those in the government to have better health care than the Americans. Why do you guys get to have better health care, but the American people can't even get a stimulus check to help them paying for the medical bills that they're getting due to the coronavirus? It makes absolutely no sense. Again, I don't even have to show you guys the videos. It's literally plastered everywhere. Again, on this is not even a Republican versus Democrat issue. It's an American issue. An American issue. United front with the citizens of America across the board, regardless if you're talking about color, race, or economic status, unless you're talking about the top 10%. Everybody is talking about they would like to have stimulus checks. That's including business owners. Because if you give stimulus checks to the people, then the business owners, meaning the small businesses, not the corporations that you keep on making trillionaires like Amazon and Target and everywhere else, those businesses are still open. But when it comes to the small mom and pops, the Main Street businesses, they don't get this funding because you did not give the people who actually go into their businesses, the local businesses, the people who go into those businesses, they don't have money to spend. They barely have money to spend in the supermarkets. They barely have money to spend in the supermarkets, let alone buy a sandwich from George and Wheezy's deli market. So how are you really thinking about the American people and thinking about the economy if you're willing to tank both? $2,000 isn't even enough. $2,000 isn't even enough. Because it's a one-time payment. It's a one-time payment. And the thing that's so beautiful about what Trump said, he didn't even say, he literally said $2,000 for the adults of the home. Meaning if you're in a two-parent home, you get $4,000 to the parents. He didn't even want to change the provision that says the children get $600 or the dependents get $2,000. He just said the adults get the $2,000 a piece per household. So again, what are we really fighting for? What are they really fighting for? To lose. To lose. Because if they do not, we don't have to worry about Mitch McConnell. We don't have to worry about Turtle. We don't have to worry about them if they lose the Georgia election. We don't have to worry about them. Because the moment they lose the Georgia election is the moment that they lose power. And guess what? We're going to get stimulus anyway. We're going to get stimulus anyway. So now they're talking about, oh, we want to go ahead and win this election so that we don't allow the Democrats to just have our checkbook. Newsflash, we're bankrupt as the American people. We are bankrupt as the American people. We don't care about, we do right now, many of the American people are losing their businesses. Their credit is being ruined because they can't pay their loans. They can't pay anything. Their credits is ruined. And that's another thing why I hated the EIDL. And any of those provisions that they had in the HEROES Act, I just really hated it. And the reason why I hated it was because, okay, so basically you're telling me if you didn't have good credit then, you weren't going to give them the loans that they needed to keep their businesses going. And now when it comes to the new one, if this were to ever pass, you still won't get it because your credit is ruined due to the coronavirus. It makes absolutely no sense. Why would you do all of these loans if you know people can't even get the loans due to the fact that they're losing their businesses? They keep talking about there's no revenue to keep the economy even together. There's no revenue. There is no revenue. I got a business, but I ain't making no money. What's going to happen to the business? It's going to close down. It's going to fail. That's just basic economics. But again, they don't care. They enjoy making Jeff Bezos and all of these and Bill Gates, and they enjoy making these men continuously rich. Because again, we, the people, are talking to millionaires. We're talking to millionaires, asking millionaires to give us money. Many of the people who are against $2,000 in the government, look at their voting record. Look at who they are. Look at who they are. And as a Christian, I have to say this. You have to look at the fruit. Look at them and notice that almost unanimously, all of them across the board have made some type of money off the last coronavirus package. Unanimously. All of them are millionaires. Across the board. Sitting on the boards of these corporations who are giving them kickbacks because they're in government. This is one of the reasons why I agreed with TYT on getting money out of the government. Because when you get the money out of the government, you don't have these special interest groups having the ability to use money as speech to go against the American people. I know y'all probably thinking, looking at my head and saying, hey, that goes against what you... No, I am for the reason I am this way is because I am for populism as a whole. Populism is what we need more so than corporatism in America. Now, am I saying we need socialism? No, I'm not saying socialism, but I am saying populism. Leaning more towards the American people. Leaning more towards the American people. Leaning more towards the American people. And the constituency. That is what we need. And that is why when Donald Trump, our president, who is still president, dropped that bomb saying, I want $2,000 checks. And if you don't, I'm not going to sign it. Because we know he can veto this and not even have to sign it or anything. They don't have time. He can hold it for the next 10 days. And guess what happens in the next 10 days? Congress switch overs. So this session of Congress is over. If they don't get, once he vetoes it, they're not going to be able to do anything. Now you got people like Amy Klobuchar talking about Donald Trump is holding the people hostage, basically telling us to shut up and take your $600. That's what she told the American people. Now you got the news talking about, well, we just need to go ahead and just give the people something. Just give them something. You got Democrats running across the board talking about, oh, we were talking about $2,000 a long time ago. Bruh. Y'all hated $2,000. That's why this is why y'all hated the freedom dividends. You didn't want the freedom dividends in the first place. You didn't want the freedom dividends. All of you wanted us to vote for Bernie, but not for freedom dividends, not for Medicare for all. We know that Joe Biden is not going to give the people what Donald Trump was willing to give the people, because Donald Trump cares more about what the people say than what the news say. That's why fake news was such a big thing, because Donald Trump only cares about what people say. That was the beauty of his narcissism, because people can come to Donald Trump and tell him that a lot of people want this and he will go with it. He's a populist. Regardless if some of the things that he did were against some of his policies about being a populist, majority of the time he was listening to the people. This is something that no other president has done in the last, matter of fact, what other president has done that in recent history? We already know Joe Biden is not going to listen to the people due to the phone call he had with the Black Caucus. The Black Caucus is asking for him to do something, and he said, man, y'all better get out of my face. I told y'all, I said something in the news, and that's all that matters. I said it. Never mind, I didn't do anything about it. I just said it. I didn't lobby for your position. I just said it. I just said your position. So we already know for a fact what he's going to do. Anytime the American people ask him for something, he's going to go with the special interest groups. He's going to go with those who help lobby for him. Look at his staff. Just look at everybody on his staff. Just look at them. So if you think that Joe Biden is going to give you what Donald Trump had already been fighting for, you are highly mistaken, especially when you have to take in consideration that he's friends with Turtle Boy. Joe Biden is friends with Turtle Boy. Think about it. Do you really think he's going to go against the grain? Do you think that he's going to be able to negotiate with them, or he even cares to negotiate? Or even cares to negotiate for the American people when everything is business as usual? It's back to business in Washington. Now we have a corporate Democrat as our president. Not only did they steal the election, not only did they tell you Donald Trump was the worst president in history, they also are now telling you that Donald Trump is wrong for wanting $2,000 stimulus checks for you, the hurting Americans out there who need these stimulus checks, who you could have passed the $1,200 stimulus check before the election. But again, we know Nancy Pelosi was playing, just like Donald Trump said, she was acting in bad faith the entire time during the negotiations. But then when you look at this stimulus bill, this is the one that she says she's okay with. So she was not okay with the negotiations with Donald Trump just because she was negotiating with Donald Trump, but now Donald Trump is not going to be president. She's okay with giving you less. The hypocrisy. The hypocrisy. She was okay with not with holding out to get more. She was okay with holding out to get more, but then given a chance, now that the election is over, she said, okay, more is $600, not the $1,200 or more that we were talking about when it was the negotiation between between President Trump and myself and Democrats. But now, hey, magic trick, $600 is okay. What? Yeah, because we get contract tracing and we get this, that, and the third, and then we get we get the ability to tell people what they can do, controlling the First Amendment. And somebody told me this on the YouTube. They were saying, well, there's nothing in the government that's saying that they're attacking the First and the Second Amendment. Newsflash, what they have in this bill currently is going to affect the First Amendment, especially when it has to do with what you can and cannot say on YouTube, on these social media platforms. If that's not an attack on the First Amendment, I don't know what is. On the First and Second Amendment. Because both of them protect each other. I don't know what is. I don't know what is. It's an attack on the Constitution and the constitutional rights that we all have. They want to make it okay in this bill, and Democrats went for it because they said we need to monitor what Trump says. We need to stop what Trump says. But that's not what it is. They want to have the ability, because we know all of these social media platforms are Democrat run or just liberal run. They want to have the ability to silence anybody they choose that does not stand for the stand with the political, don't have the same political stance as they do. So if you're independent, you're hit. If you're a Republican, you're hit. If you're a Democrat, liberal, you are okay. Disseminating your information is wrong as anything other than a Democrat or liberal. It's crazy, bro. They use this stimulus bill to, again, shovel in, and I keep telling these people, I keep saying this. This is the age of the internet. There's nothing they can hide. There's truly almost nothing that they can hide when it comes to things like this. Now, there's a lot of stuff that they have that's classified, blah, 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 that they can't hide from us. But again, stuff like this, they can't hide it. We had the bill. As soon as they released the bill, we had the bill. It was public information, all on the internet. People were already reading it, reading through it, seeing what was in it, even as Congress was looking through it. So again, what are we talking about here? What are we really talking about here? They are trying to create another. They're basically what these rich, the top 10%, top 15%. I'll even add a portion of the top middle income people. What they're trying to do is close the door, using the coronavirus to close the door. Anybody else trying to make enough money to be able to survive the next decade. They're trying to close the door on you. And this is what millionaires do. They climb the ladder and they close the door and create situations where you can't be able to climb the ladder. That's what they do. They hate competition. They despise competition. So they're really not even capitalists. They're corporatists. They are the barons of old who wanted to have a stronghold on every single part of the market. It's a shame that our postal service has to go against Amazon. Why does our postal service have to go against Amazon? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Tesla is literally going through all technology and making sure that they have hands in all technology. This is not democracy. This is not democracy. This is not capitalism. This is a huge middle finger to every single American person. Because they care more about their special interests than they do the American people. And we need change. We need to get this corporate money out of our government. I don't know what else to say, man. This thing is over, bro. Republicans, prepare to lose this Georgia runoff election. Because we all know with the mail-in ballots, what happened with that. I love you guys. Peace and blessings. Love your neighbor as yourself. And love God with all your heart. Peace.